In 1994, a man walked into a police station and confessed to a murder he had perfectly hidden for 6 years. No new evidence had surfaced, no witnesses had come forward. He faced zero external pressure. This behavior defies our basic assumptions about self-preservation. Yet unprovoked confessions occur with startling frequency. Suspects who have successfully destroyed evidence and escaped suspicion will eventually walk into a precinct and hand over their freedom. Self-preservation is an active, conscious choice. It requires a constant expenditure of mental energy to suppress the truth. Forensic evidence suggests that the human brain struggles to maintain this high-level conscious suppression over long periods of time. Over time, deep-seated psychological and biological processes begin to override the instinct to stay hidden. The mind systematically dismantles the very barriers it built to protect itself. The biological machinery of a killer's own mind eventually functions as an internal investigator, more persistent and inescapable than any law enforcement agency. This internal investigation begins with cognitive load. Maintaining a hidden second identity requires a massive amount of mental RAM. You are running a complex cover story in the background of every waking moment. This turns daily life into a gauntlet of calculated threat assessments. A casual question from a neighbor or a headline in the paper requires an immediate, high-stakes reaction. Your brain is trapped in a loop of monitoring, adjusting, and suppressing. This diagram tracks how that mental weight compounds. Each new lie acts like a heavy block, eventually overwhelming the baseline processing capacity of the brain. Over years, this constant load causes a measurable decline in emotional regulation and logical decision-making. The brain eventually reaches a breaking point, where it calculates that the immediate relief of confession is worth more than the long-term cost of prison. A voluntary confession represents the brain ruthlessly optimizing for its own immediate psychological survival. The second force is rooted in social biology. Human beings possess a hardwired need for external validation and recognition from their peers. For a killer, the most significant event of their life, the perfect crime, is a milestone they can never share. They live in a state of profound psychological isolation, unable to claim credit for what they perceive as a complex achievement. Dennis Rader, the BTK killer, illustrates this desperate need for an audience. He spent decades sending taunting, erratic letters to the police and local media, providing detailed accounts of his crimes. Rader used these communications to demand recognition for his intelligence. He effectively traded his anonymity for the validation of being seen as a mastermind by the public. This audience effect causes identity fragmentation. The killer confesses because the ego requires an external witness to reconcile who they are with who the world believes them to be. Beyond the ego, there is a raw neurological hardware failure. It centers on a physical structure called the anterior cingulate cortex. These MRI scans show elevated activity in the anterior cingulate cortex, the bright green and yellow regions. This area serves as the brain's automatic conflict monitoring machinery. Sustained guilt physically locks this error detection machinery in the on position, continually firing until the conflict is resolved. This biological drive operates independently of the suspect's will. It manifests as a leakage of information, half-truths, strange reactions to specific questions, and the slow dismantling of their own alibi during conversation. Detectives utilize this biological pressure by using silence during interrogations. They create a void that the misfiring anterior cingulate cortex feels a compulsion to fill. The human brain is the ultimate investigator. It is biologically programmed to detect its own errors and eventually reveal them to the world. The cognitive load becomes unsustainable. The ego demands an audience, and the neurology of the brain requires a correction. These three forces make holding a significant secret indefinitely a structural impossibility. While these mechanisms are most visible in the interrogation room, they are not exclusive to criminal psychology. The same error detection circuitry and social needs are present in every human head. The hardware that eventually breaks a killer is the same hardware you use to process your daily life. If the human brain is biologically designed to unburden itself, what does that reveal about the secrets you are carrying right now?